Okay, I'll start with 3 flashes that are all about the same for flashing myself out of here. Crouching, aiming just underneath the hinge, somewhere around there is good. This is the narrowest of the 3 in that it doesn't flash this guy if he's against this wall over here, but other than that, these are all about the same. Come over here, crouch, and aiming just off to the right of that strike plate somewhere so I don't hit the door frame. Anywhere around there is good. Now this one does hit this guy no matter where he is, standing or crouching. And from this spot, I'm just aiming about this part of the door frame, run forward and bounce it around, and then come out on that. That basically does the same thing, just comes out wider. And just show the 3 of them together for comparison's sake. Somewhere around there. Let's see what it does here, but it flashes this side of pit everywhere here, just not this side, obviously. And then we're going to get most of mini pit, or all of mini pit, depending on which one. And they're high enough for over top of the box. Hit most of the site. But they also hit my guys coming up short. And if I'm worried about that, I can come over here, aim right about here. Somewhere in this region that I'm aiming. Where those bullets are. Not outside that bullet range there. And as you can see, it lands on that side of the hay, so my guys over here will be safe from that. Let me show it. It's gonna flash most of mini pit and at least half of the pit, and obviously the site too. But my guys, I mean, he could even be up here fighting pit, or looking this way. He ain't gonna be flashed. Likewise, this guy can be up to at least to this point here, looking this direction. He ain't flashed, so that can be helpful. Especially 2 of those in a row as my guys are coming up. Oh, and from over here too, if we happen to have pit control, I can just aim somewhere around here on the hinge. It's more in the upper part of the hinge, and just use that to like peek. It doesn't flash pit at all. And but flashes towards the site where I'm looking to be peeking. And from up here, here's a good one I just found today. Just aim right about here, or a little bit lower, depending on how I want to do it. If I aim there, it's a little bit better of a one-way. If I aim a tiny bit lower, now I can guarantee that I'm going to flash this guy. Well, unless he's crouching, I guess, but it's a little wider, so you can make it a little wider. But for the most part, hits all the same spots, which is like up to this point here only. So if you take a wide peek, there's guys, you know, that could see you that wouldn't be flashed. And another way to aim it is just see where this the roof and the door frame meet. Just aim there and then to the right a little bit. Then crouch and throw. And you know, it doesn't get all the pit here. It gets some of it. Certainly if he's up on a bike, gets mini pit, gets most of the site. And obviously safe for short. Or if I don't want to be so fancy, I can just aim either about here or just off to the left of the wall, about there. So I usually aim about there. Mouse 2 jump, throw one there, or just, I like bouncing it off the wall instead and have it pop above my head. Just in case there's a guy here, he's going to get that real good. And it just is a little bit better placement. Chimney Flash, can't forget the Chimney Flash, nice and simple. Just line up here and aim about here. Just make sure you don't hit this arch. That's ugly, embarrassing. That's about right there. Not perfect, but it's good. Obviously flashing pit perfectly. Another way you could throw it, you could line up like somewhere around here with that black dot, or these lines on the wall, just somewhere around here. Or you can line up where you can just see the edge of anywhere around here, where you can just barely see the daylight past the building, or like this is fine. I'm just aiming right about here. From up further, aim to the same spot. Just aim there while crouched and jump throw. Well, not a nade, a flash. Wait, could I actually nade that? That actually might do damage to that guy now that either way, it's just a deeper flash, obviously. And if we're ready to waterfall out, maybe I'll come over here, slide along this wall here until I can see some of this window in the background there. Then crouch and aim right here, the top left corner of the wall, or that window there. Just make sure you're not standing when you jump there, otherwise you're screwed up. And that puts it in just the perfect spot. So I mean, it's not going to barely flash our guys coming out here. And anybody looking at them is getting really flashed. Alright, for smokes, I'll start with smoke and CT. Easiest way I know in this corner. Just aiming along this shadow line right at that where those two planks come together. And then I'll crouch walk forward and jump throw as my crosshair is getting right to that black line. Tiny bit earlier, tiny bit later to be okay, but not by... Oops, let me get in position here so I don't screw it up. You don't have too much room for error, but you're crouch walking, so it's slow enough that if you miss it, it's your own fault. It's nice and easy, just and quick. Just pay attention for a second and a half, and you'll get it just fine. I got a few ways I like to smoke off this cross here so my teammates can push up short without worrying about pit so much. The first way I do it is come here, crouch, aim right at the top of the door in the middle there. Ooh, I gotta throw the nade. And bounce it off that stuff. And it lands nice and wide. So that guy in pit has no vision of whether or not we've crossed in the sight. This guy can't see anything on this side of the hay, but he's got full vision of everything over here on this wall. If I want to block off that guy's vision of the wall, I can do it from this corner here, crouch and aim right here. Right about here is good. And just throw it there. And now it's not going to be wide enough to fully block this guy's vision here. But it will give this guy nothing here at all. So our guys can be comfortable coming up. At least this wall is safe. One last way I'd throw that. Aim right about here. And this is just if, like, I want it to be a part of a wall of smokes where someone else is doing, like, this smoke here. For example, aim at the top of this little submarine here. And for, like, a wall of smokes, like, I just like it a little narrower, so if this guy tries sneaking out here, there's not more smoke in front of him that he can kind of sneak up and out with. If he comes out, we'll see him immediately and take advantage of the smoke. Okay, one last smoke, just aiming about here on the hinge. Nope, right about there, not much higher up. So don't go off the edge. I'm sure you know the smoke, but just to get a little... take away the vision from the sight for a second. Once I've cleared stuff out, I like to just take a second and throw a nade right there where these two wires come together, because it's just a perfect molly for the backsite there. Now other mollies, the first way I throw a molly pit, just aim, bounce it off of that thing, just nice and quick, and that's the earliest, maybe safest way to do that. Now the Nade Mini Pit, I'm just aiming right about here. See this dark spot on the wall there? I'm aiming below that. I just put the top of my crosshair just below that, and that's perfect. And just drop it right on this guy's head. Plunk. And up from this corner here, I can aim right there, which I can get to, but I can, by standing, aim along the edge of this roof where it meets the door frame, just off to the right a little bit, and then crouch. Somewhere around there is good. Also makes a good flash too. I just found this today. I'm having a little fun. So if you do the same thing with a flash, it pops over the ledge there. And it's one more way to smoke CT. You can do it from back here. It's a little ridiculous, but if you come here where you lined up, where you can just see the edge of this window about flush with that door frame there, so I'll come in here like this, aim about like that, then aim right in the middle of that lower hinge there, and just run forward and throw it at the last second before you hit the door. Any earlier, you'll catch a little bit, an extra bounce here, and then it'll be too short. I know it's a little ridiculous, but it can be done consistently, and you don't have to come around this corner, and like it can be done a little more safely, but it's kind of ridiculous. And you can't, if you release it too early or too late, you screw it up. But this stuff is great right here.